Hey Jane, I've got something to tell you. It looks like Kelly has decided to get married. It looks like she's trying to get him to come over to the house. Maybe she wants to introduce her new fiancé to us.
Hey, oh really? Kelly actually wants to go through with it? This must be a blessing in disguise. Wow, she can finally pack her things and move out. Good riddance, I say.
What's that supposed to mean? That she can finally do that? That's true. Tell your true feelings about it, why don't you?
I can't help but do that, to be honest. I'm already so exhausted from Kelly's daily attacks. She's a bit vicious. I'd really appreciate it if she left sooner rather than later. It'll feel like a weight's been taken off my shoulders.
Yeah, she really likes having a go at you, doesn't she? She thinks that because we all live together, that she can do that.
She seems to give me the impression that all high school graduates sit at the bottom of society.
What are you talking about? It doesn't matter about what your educational background is, Jane. I told her that you're a boss and in charge of a lot of people.
You realize that she's not going to believe anything like that, right? I guess she's just making things easier to comprehend. That high school graduates don't accomplish anything and have crappy, low-paying jobs in society. I guess we can't help the way she thinks about things. Her thinking isn't going to change anytime soon.
Well, once she gets married and moves out of the house, she might finally calm down and not hassle you so much.
Yeah, perhaps. Your mother insisted that we both live together, but it doesn't make it right for her to treat me this way in the house. This might be the best time to do that. I'm looking forward to meeting her new fiancé. It's going to be a very interesting conversation.
Right, okay. Talk to her if you can about how you feel. I hope we can give her a proper goodbye so that she'll want to leave and not move back in.
Oh, it's going to be. Don't you worry about that, but there's a lot of things I want to confront Kelly about. Well, it looks like I'm getting married. You know, I kept telling you to leave, but you didn't listen to me. You decided to ignore me instead. I never thought that I'd have to be the one to move out. This is so annoying. I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, but I'm not going to be the one who has to leave. Also, congratulations on your marriage. I hope that you do your best by him, and good luck with everything that comes your way. I hope you'll both be happy. You don't need to tell me to be happy because I already am. I've already got all the luck in the world. You don't have to say such things. I'm not going to be a burden to my husband like you've been. I'm a highly educated woman. We're so different that you're not even on the same level as me. All you're good for is nothing, high school graduate. Oh, is that so? Please, feel free to tell me everything you know since you're so smart. What's your point here, Kelly? What's so fun about looking down on someone like me? Am I your enemy? No, I'm just embarrassed that I had to live under the same roof as you, Jane. Don't you understand how highly educated I am? I'm going to invite my fiancé over to our place. I think it's just going to be gross having to meet you face to face. How else am I supposed to explain our differences, huh? Well, when you introduce me to people, why don't you just say to them that this is the sister-in-law who lives with me? Why do you have to mention my educational background or make me feel so low? Because otherwise, people wouldn't understand what I'm going through by living with some lowlife. Don't you get that? My fiancé is the son of a company boss, for goodness sake. What the heck happened to you? Okay, yeah, I've heard about this so many times from you, Kelly. What's that got to do with me exactly? Okay. You saying that is the reason why high school graduates like you are the bottom of society. You know nothing. I'm inviting him over to our house so that he can meet everyone. Since you're such a lowlife, I might as well introduce you as our house servant. What the heck did you just say to me? Did you just call me your house servant? Are you kidding me, Kelly? What else am I supposed to call you? There's no other use for you in this house, so you might as well be a servant, right? The only things you're good at doing is preparing meals and doing the housework. You're more or less a servant. Now just hold on a minute there, Kelly. Have you always thought of me as your slave since I moved in with Joel and the family? I don't understand. Am I wrong about you being our servant? You're just Jane, the good-for-nothing house servant. That's a terrible thing to say to someone who belongs in this family. Why the heck would you call me a servant when I'm not? Well, you do nothing to contribute to the household, Jane. I need to tell my fiancé that it's okay to use you as a servant. Otherwise, people might assume that our family's ranked at the bottom of society if they knew you were a part of the household. Nobody would ever think that. You're just a terrible person for calling me that. I am not a servant, nor will I ever be one to you. Aw, but why? I didn't say anything wrong, did I? Stop denying what you should be doing for our family. I'm just trying to say that you can't call me that. You're so cruel and never think before you speak. Look, I don't care what you think of me, Jane. My fiancé's coming over the day after tomorrow. Please leave before he arrives at the doorstep. I'm not leaving. I'm allowed to be here. I've got the day after tomorrow off, so I think I'll stay at home. I'll just take this opportunity to greet your fiancé. Didn't you say that he's the son of a company president? I don't know what company he works for, but I might be involved with it in the future. What the heck are you talking about, Jane? Why would a high school graduate get involved with a business that my fiancé will own someday? You're not seriously trying to become some hotshot company boss, are you? That is a dream you'll never achieve. It's not a dream of mine, Kelly. I actually am a company boss. You obviously don't know me very well. It's nothing special since almost everyone can become a boss of a company. Personally, I wouldn't want to work for a company where the boss is only a female high school graduate. Well, I wouldn't want to work for someone like you anyway, Kelly. You don't really give me good team player vibes. Wait, what? What's that supposed to mean? You don't even own a company, so you can't say something like that. I don't know how much plainer I can be about the topic, but I suppose I was being rude, wasn't I? Oh well. But it seems like we're trying to say the same sort of thing, so there's no problem. Anyways, I'm looking forward to meeting your fiancé the day after tomorrow. It should be a good time. I made sure to tell my fiancé about the proper role you have in this household. What did you tell him about me? What are you even talking about, Kelly? Are you making things up again? No, of course not. I told him to feel free to use my sister-in-law as a servant since all she's accomplished in life was high school and that's it. If you really don't want to leave the house, then I should be able to call you my servant. You're good for nothing else. I can't help that. Please work hard today as our slave so that we can impress my fiancé when he gets here. Did you seriously just call me a slave? Don't you know what kind of connotations that brings out nowadays, Kelly? Do you have no shame? I can't believe you're not thinking about what you're saying to me. You can't just call me that. Why would I have any shame? Come on, Jane. All you are is a good-for-nothing high school graduate. I can call you whatever I like. My sister-in-law has accomplished nothing, and you're also a bad wife. You're nothing but a slave to our family. If you understand what I'm telling you, you'd calm down and work for my family as a servant. Ugh, you are literally being such a pain, Kelly. It seems like there's no point in saying anything to you anymore. I'll probably end up regretting not saying anything, but that's not my fault. But in a roundabout way, it is. It's not fair. Oh, boo-hoo, Jane. My fiancé, who's the future boss of his company, is coming over to the house now. I'm going to introduce you as a low-ranking house servant instead of my sister-in-law. Just a no-good high school graduate. Wow. Okay, don't hold back, Kelly. I'm still looking forward to meeting the guy. At least he'll see what you're like. Don't even think about being rude in front of him. Good luck today, slave. You're going to need it with the mess we're going to make of the house. You know what I'm really looking forward to, Kelly? How long you can keep up this attitude that you've got. Just hang on a minute. What's going on here? You need to give me an explanation right now. What is the meaning of this? Wow, it was so funny when your fiancé started shaking when he saw me. It was like he was nervous or something. It seems like it's been a while since I had seen someone get all panicky in front of me. I feel bad for the guy, but it meant that I was able to see something very interesting. What's interesting? What are you talking about, Jane? Are you making fun of him? Do you have any idea how much you've embarrassed me today? I seriously can't believe this. I guess it must have been my fault that everyone got so embarrassed. I just so happened to work at the same place as your fiancé. I just so happened to be the president and also was once a good customer of them as well. There is absolutely no way that that could be true. You definitely would never make it as a boss of a company. Well, you should be able to tell from the attitude that your fiancé had that it's true, right? He got so mad about how you were treating me that he made you kneel down on the ground and apologize at my feet. And even after that, you still don't think it's true? What's wrong with you, Kelly? I can't believe what happened. I can't believe that someone would make me kneel on the floor and make me apologize. Well, so you should have, since you said something that made me fall to the floor in anger. You called me a slave and even told your fiancé about it. But why should I be the one to have to get on my knees? I hardly did anything wrong. What did I ever truly do to you? I was just speaking the truth. There's no way that I'm going to help you out with this one if you don't even know what you've done wrong. Well, you didn't have any right to tell him not to marry me. How could you say that? When you told him that, he immediately wanted to call off the engagement. I'm absolutely devastated. How could you do this to someone? How could I do what to someone? Speak the truth about how you've treated me? I was just thinking out loud, to be honest. You're so insensitive. How could you do this to me? What a terrible thing to say to someone's fiancé. What's your problem with me? Why do you always cause me so much trouble? You don't need to say those things. It wasn't necessary. You're just telling lies, aren't you, to make yourself look good? I'm being insensitive? Really? Even though you called me a slave? What are you even talking about, Kelly? What lies are you even referring to? It's impossible for a high school graduate to get a top position in a company, so we're obviously talking about someone else, right? I know that you're criticizing my marriage. Why do you have to do that? I'm sorry you think I'm doing that to you, Kelly. I'm not talking about anyone else but myself here. I'm the one who's the boss of a company, so I don't get why it's so hard for you to believe that. Are you still going on about this? This conversation's going round and round in circles. Or did you actually know I was the boss and you just didn't want that to be true because you'd look like such a terrible person for bullying someone, right? Yes, I did know about it, but I thought that you were more of a self-proclaimed president to make yourself look more important. I can't believe you actually run a company, even though you're only a high school graduate. It makes no sense. Just because I didn't go to college, it doesn't mean that I can't do anything with my life. You criticize people so much based on their education. It's annoying. Even high school graduates can succeed if they take things seriously and give their chance a good shot like I did. You only seem to care about someone's academic history, and you're so picky when it comes to jobs. You only end up looking like a half-hearted part-time worker. Why do you always have a go at me for my educational background? How dare you talk to me like that? What are you getting at? You can treat me like this? What do you mean by me being half-hearted? Even though you register for a position and get dispatched to that position you applied for, you get picky and don't like the way things are done. If you turn around and say it's not a good fit for you, you just quit right away. What a waste of time for the company in hiring you. You frequently quit jobs and blame that it doesn't suit you, but it's because you're lazy and don't want to work. All you want to do is live off of someone else for the rest of your life so you don't have to do hard work. That's not true at all. You know nothing about me. Stop making up crap about me. You can't say much either. I work a lot harder than you do, Kelly. Then why don't you explain to me what it is that you do? All I'm trying to do is find a job that's right for me. I just want to find a job that matches my abilities. Okay, sure. I guess I should believe you, but I think that's crap, Kelly. Hey, if there's something that I'm interested in and I like it, I'll stick with it, and I'll do so for a very long time. My guess is that you'll never find anything you like, and you'll just use others to get what you want. It's because I'm just too good for all the jobs that I've tried to do, okay? I've got world-class abilities. Isn't it more to do with just having too high of a standard and thinking you're better than you actually are? Not a question of your abilities. What are you even on about, Jane? That makes no sense. What's so wrong with having a high standard anyways? It's not good having such high expectations, Kelly. It makes you look like you're too good for everyone and that you're snubbing them. You don't have any world-class abilities. You're just picky and lazy. This is what happens when you think your ideals are the most important. When are you going to realize that you've got no special abilities and actually just find a job and stick to it? Rude much? It's not entirely impossible. I just haven't found my exact ability yet, okay? Don't you know that I graduated from a super prestigious university? Doesn't that make me special? And your point is what exactly? I don't think your university actually matters to probably most people. Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean? Going to that university makes me special and elite, no? Okay, yeah, you worked hard to get into a famous university. I'm not going to take that away from you. But does going to a university that's famous really determine if you're going to succeed in life or be an elite or wealthy? I heard that you quit the company that you joined only a month after graduating from university. Since then, you've been jumping from job to job a lot. How does that make you elite? Don't you want to move up the career ladder? You've got to stay at a job for a long time to do that. All you've done recently is quit your previous job to be a so-called home security guard. What is that anyway? You turn around and say that you can't help with the housework even though you're at home. You don't even do anything like that, which is just lazy, to be honest with you. How dare you try to make fun of me? At least I try. All you are is a high school graduate. You never went to college like I did. How does that not make me a successful person, huh? I got the best education in the country, if not the world. Oh, don't talk crap, Kelly. Just because you got into a good school, it doesn't mean you're automatically going to be successful. I might have only graduated high school, but annual income's a lot higher than yours. I do wonder how many times more it is. Your income at the moment is, well, 0, so I can't really calculate it as such. There's absolutely no comparison. I'm still in the early stages of my life. I've got time to find a really good job. I'm still young, unlike you old hag. If I get married, I'll get rich that way because I'll marry a man who makes lots of money. So someone's educational background doesn't matter anymore as long as they make a lot of money? Shut up, Jane. There's no need to be a smart aleck to me. That's what I plan to do, so I'll do it. Aw, did that hurt your poor little heart? You're literally a walking contradiction, Kelly. You looked down on me because of my academic history. What makes you think you won't do the same when it comes to looking for a husband? If you think you'll end up getting married, I see no problem with that. Someone's academic history just won't matter anymore, even if it's to find your ideal husband. Okay, I get it. You dare call me a slave, even though I work hard at my company and you do nothing all day. What a load of trash. I guess it causes you so much pain to see how unsuccessful you are compared to me. Oh, you think you're causing me pain? I can throw it right back at you. What are you going to do for me? What am I supposed to do if my marriage doesn't work out? You need to take responsibility for ruining my relationship with my fiancé. Will you even do that? Me? Take responsibility? Are you kidding me? I just spoke the truth while you lied through your teeth. Do I really need to take the blame? Of course you do. You ruined my marriage. I was going to marry that guy and all you had to do was leave the house and you didn't. You're at fault here. Because of what you said to him, our marriage is in doubt. You do realize that, right? Say that it's your fault, Jane. Wow, it really satisfies you to put all the blame on me, doesn't it? Even though I told your fiancé the truth and you told him I'm a slave. Really, Kelly? I'm only responsible for what I said, so you should be too, correct? Are you kidding me with this crap? What are you trying to say? You called me, your own sister-in-law, a slave. What a horrible thing to do. And you told him I'm just an outsider. I don't know which one is more embarrassing, do you? It's a really stupid and just an inexcusable thing to say to someone who's married into the family. I thought we would get along when I moved in. Well, there's not much more to say than that. Look, it was wrong of me to call you a slave. It's not like I had any bad intentions. It was just a joke, you know? I don't get why you're so angry about this when all I was doing was teasing you. I know it's not the actual truth. I just wanted to have a little bit of fun since it gets so boring around here sometimes. I'm not angry about it, just really disappointed that someone would stoop so low to say something like this to another person. There are honestly too many idiots like you in the world that show no remorse and just say whatever they want and forget the other person's feelings. You even told me to leave the house, my own house that I live in with my husband. Why should I have to go? This house is also in my name. My mother-in-law asked me to live with you all, and she let me live here out of compassion. If you want me to leave, then you can tell me that after you've got your own house. You'll know soon enough what it feels like to be kicked out of your own home, okay? Whoa, just back up a minute. I don't believe that this house is in your name. Why is it in your name? You really underestimated me. I'm a boss of a company, Kelly. Didn't you know that I'm capable of making decisions like this? You know what? I don't care what you say to me now. Your words don't really hurt me anymore. Please leave the house immediately. You're not welcome here. Wait, what? Are you for real? Why can't I stay here? Are you seriously kicking me out right now? Are you insane? Are you trying to kick me out onto the streets? Well, why shouldn't I, considering the way you've been treating me? You deserve it, to be honest. Don't you know that my marriage is ruined because of you? I've got nowhere to go now. I was going to marry a successor of a company, for goodness sake. You called me a slave, Kelly. You said I was a lowlife who never accomplished anything. I've accomplished more than you, and I didn't even go to college. You were the one who was making up lies and saying things that didn't make sense. You've been the problem this entire time. No matter what way you look at it, it's not my fault at all. I'm the victim in all of this. I can do what I want in this situation, and I am telling you to leave this house. But I was going to get married, and now everything's ruined. Where do I go when you kick me out? I don't know. That's a problem you need to solve on your own. Perhaps find a job that earns you money? You're an awful person, and I never want to have anything to do with you ever again. You've always been a cruel sister-in-law. You can't just say those sorts of things about me. Please, just wait a minute, Jane. What did my brother say about this? He said that he's very disappointed in your behavior towards me. He finds it disgusting. I don't understand. Why would he say something like that to his little sister? He's always said nice things about me. Well, he's no longer wearing his rose-tinted glasses anymore. He sees you for what you truly are, which is rude and cruel. Don't you remember calling me a slave or something? Do you have short-term memory loss, Kelly? No one in this house wants you here. You're officially cut off. Don't even think that you can come back into the family. You've ruined your chances of doing that. Please, no, you can't kick me out. I'm the baby of the family. Please don't cut me off. I'm sorry for what I said to you. Don't do this. I'll make up for it. It's too late for that, Kelly. You blew it. Anyways, I've got things to do. Goodbye. Good luck finding a job. You'll need one to survive. I hope you've learned your lesson. In the end, Kelly's marriage fell apart and apparently was kicked out of the house not long after that. Kelly went crying to Jane and Joel and her parents, but she was only lectured to and they ignored her pleas to move back in. They told her that she had gone too far this time. They told her that she couldn't rely on them again and was kicked out of the family home. Kelly left the house and had no choice but to live on the streets. She got herself lost wandering the streets of the city and thought about how dumb she was. It seemed that she finally realized how bad her words were, but even so-called elite people like her don't get their own way all the time. She was disappointed that she couldn't get a decent job or find a house to live in. She's currently working part-time as a live-in worker to make ends meet. It seems like she's not living a life of a successful person. It's the result of her own actions. She got too snobby for her own good.
Lisa, how are you? I hope you're not too busy. Can I go and borrow it today as we promised?
Hi, Susie. What are you talking about?
You can't have forgotten already. You're not that old. I guess it slipped your mind. You promised me that I could borrow your car for a couple of days. Remember? You shouldn't forget promises like that. It's not very polite, you know.
No, I haven't promised anything like that. I never once said that it was okay. I said that I can't allow you to borrow my car over and over. Don't forget things for your own convenience. I'm not letting you borrow my car, and that's final.
Oh, come on. I need a car. We're planning on leaving tomorrow. I've already paid for the camping site, so we can't delay our trip. We need to borrow your car or we won't be able to go enjoy our holiday. We're going to miss out on camping by the sea just because you wanted to be mean.
There's no point guilt-tripping me. I already told you to get a rent-a-car. It's my car and I need to use it tomorrow. I can't lend it to you.
But rental cars are so expensive. It'll be impossible to find a cheap one at this last minute. Also, tomorrow's a federal holiday. There aren't going to be any vacancies. Everyone's going to have the day off, so it'll be impossible to find a car now.
Why should I care? I already told you that I can't lend you my car weeks ago. You should have booked a car then. And why can't you use your own car?
Why do you have to be so horrible? It's being repaired. It's not at home at the moment. I don't have my own car, and I can't get a rental car, so you have to lend me yours. Plus, if I borrow your car, I don't have to pay a thing.
What makes you think you can borrow it without paying? I'm not lending it to you. I don't care how expensive rent-a-cars are. That's your own fault for not booking in advance. You'll have to solve this problem yourself. It's got nothing to do with me.
Don't say that. I can't believe you were this much of a bully. I thought you were much kinder than that. Oh, I'm so disappointed.
It's not a matter of being kind. No matter how bad you try and make me feel, I'm not lending you my car. End of story.
Whenever your son wanted to borrow my daughter's toys, I always let him. I think it's only fair that you be just as generous. You're an adult, aren't you?
Borrowing toys and borrowing a car are completely different. You can't honestly think that it's the same thing. Cars involve insurance, and it'll get complicated if you have an accident or happen to damage the car. And a car is worth a lot more than a child's toy. You understand that, don't you?
But my husband is good at driving. He won't have an accident or do anything that could damage the car. So you don't have to worry about insurance. We've got road service, so if we get a flat tire or run out of gas or something, we'll be able to sort it out.
Whether your husband is good at driving or not, you could still get caught up in an accident. I'm talking about if someone is injured. I can't let you borrow my car. That would be too irresponsible. Find a rent-a-car.
Oh, please! It's just for a few days. You can't be that selfish. Why can't you be a bit more understanding?
That's what I want to say. If you think I'm being selfish, then so be it. Anyway, I've got to get back to work. I have a meeting, and I don't have time to be discussing this with you. I'm not going to be able to respond to your messages, so there's no point in messaging me. Susie, pick up the phone! What do you think you're doing? What did you do with my car? There's no point pretending that your phone is off. I know that it was you who took my car. If you don't answer my messages or calls, I'll report this to the police.
What? The police? You're kidding! You're overreacting!
Why were you ignoring my messages? What have you done with my car? I can't believe you'd take it without my permission. What is wrong with you? I told you that I didn't want to lend it to you.
You're so rude! I didn't take it without permission! Your husband was the one that gave me your car keys.
That's because you lied and told him that I promised to lend it to you. Even though I told you several times that I didn't want to, you went against my wishes. My husband was naive to believe you, but that's because neither of us knew up until now that you were this untrustworthy. It looks like he tried to call me, but like I told you, I was in a meeting. You took advantage of that and coerced my husband. Anyway, I want you to return my car. We need it tomorrow. If you return it right now, I won't involve the police.
Please don't call the police. I haven't done anything wrong. Your husband gave us the keys, so that means he gave us permission to borrow it. Why are you being so mean? You should just accept his decision.
It's not his decision to make. The car is mine. It's not his property, so no matter what he said, my word is final. Plus, he only gave you the keys because you convinced him that I had said yes, but had forgotten to mention it to him.
It's not his car? Well, I didn't know that, but he's still the one that gave us the keys. It's such a big car. It must come in really handy for all sorts of occasions. It's perfect for carrying our camping equipment.
Just hurry up and bring it back.
But we've already finished loading it with all of our stuff. It's a plan to take everything out again, so we'll return it after we've come back from our trip. That's good enough, isn't it?
Good enough? Not nearly. There's nothing good about this situation. I need my car so that we can visit my parents for the holidays tomorrow. How am I supposed to get there without a car?
I don't know. Why don't you get a rent-a-car? If you can buy a big car like this, I'm sure you can afford it.
You're joking, right? You're telling me to get a rent-a-car? Why should I be the one getting a rent-a-car when I've got a perfectly good car of my own? A car that you've stolen from me. You should be the one paying for a rent-a-car if yours isn't available. Be an adult and give me back my car.
But it took so much time getting all of our stuff in the car. It'll take ages to get it all off again. It'll just be a waste of time if we do that. And I don't want to do anything that bothersome. If you have a problem with me borrowing your car, you should talk to your husband. I didn't steal the keys. He handed them to me. We only borrowed the car because he said we could. It's not our fault you didn't talk to your husband about not letting us borrow your car. Our kids get along really well, so you don't want to ruin their friendship with something so trivial, do you? If they knew what you were saying, they would be really disappointed. I'm sure your son would be happy to let us borrow the car for a day or two.
Right now, Sam's opinion and my husband's opinion don't matter. That's my car you've taken. I'm going to pick it up, so please unload your things and have it ready for me to take home. I'll have to take a taxi to go to your place, so expect a bill in the mail. I wouldn't have had to do this if you had just given me back my car, but I had no choice.
You can't come here. Even if you do, there's no point. We've already left. Instead of wasting money on a taxi, you should go home.
I know that you're lying and you're still at home. Did you forget that Sally lives opposite you? She called me to tell me that my car was parked on the side of the road. She also told me that parking there is off limits because there's a crosswalk nearby. You were pretty confident that you wouldn't cause an accident, but you're already doing something so irresponsible. How am I supposed to trust you with my car? By the way, Sally thought about calling the police since it's pretty dangerous, but she was kind enough to call me first since she recognized it as my car. I made it clear that I hadn't parked it there and told her that it had been stolen, so you better hurry up and get your things out and return it to me before I really do call the police.
You told her that I stole it? How could you say that? How could you accuse me of something like that?
It's not an accusation, it's the truth. I'm asking you to return it, but you're refusing. That means that you've stolen it. I'm going to collect my car, but if the police find it parked in a no parking zone before I can get there, there's nothing I can do to help you. You'll have committed a crime.
I can't believe you told Sally that I stole your car. I can't believe you have the nerve to victimize yourself like that. I haven't done anything to deserve all of this. I thought you were so kind, but now I know that was all an act. You're horrible. How could you spread rumors about me like that? I thought we were friends.
You say you haven't done anything. You took my car without my permission. And then you parked it in a no parking zone. What were you thinking? If your definition of kind is letting you step all over me, then you're just being selfish.
I'm sorry. I didn't think you would be so bothered by me borrowing your car. But you didn't have to tell Sally that I had stolen it. You went too far, Lisa. I can't believe I ever thought of you as a friend.
I told you over and over again that I didn't want to lend you my car. How many times do I have to tell you no before you understand that it means no? And I haven't spread any rumors. I've only told Sally the truth about what happened. Don't guilt trip me.
Oh, okay. I understand that you didn't want to lend me your car. But please, don't call the police. You're just overreacting. I've already apologized. You should forgive me already.
The situation has gone beyond being settled by a simple apology. Wait, you got a scratch on my car?
What? What are you talking about? We haven't done anything. I told you my husband is a good driver.
I'm on the phone with Sally and she went to take a look at my car for me. She told me that there was a scratch on the side, on my door. What have you done? This is one of the reasons why I didn't want to let you borrow my car.
It's not my fault. Somebody must have scratched it when they passed by. They should have taken more care when they drove by. It's not my responsibility, so I don't have to pay anything, do I?
You're at home, aren't you? I've had enough of discussing this with you. Would you hurry up and return my car? If you won't, I'll have to call the police. I'm not taking no for an answer.
I said I'm sorry. How many times do I have to apologize? We'll be back from our trip tomorrow, so I'll return it then. It's just a scratch, so it's not like it needs urgent repairs.
No, you're returning it now! If you don't come back with my car within an hour, I'm reporting it to the police as a theft. Once I've called the police, I'll have to head to yours in a taxi to collect my car, so I'll be billing you with a taxi fee. Do you understand? I'm being very serious. I want my car back.
Wait a minute, just calm down. You're being really unreasonable. My husband's apologizing too, so please forgive us. Ugh, he said that he got carried away. Please calm down. Don't call the police on us. We didn't mean to do anything.
Carried away. He says he got carried away? Do you really think that that's a good enough excuse for what you've done? You stole and got a scratch on my brand new car after I told you repeatedly that I didn't want to let you borrow it. Your husband knew that I hadn't given you permission, but he still cooperated with you. I can't believe either of you. You really must be perfect for each other if you can be so accepting of your partner's crimes.
May is apologizing too, so would you please forgive us? We'll babysit Sam whenever you want. You must be really busy with work, so dealing with the police will take up a lot of time, don't you think? Let's just forget about this.
Why are you bringing May into this? She's your daughter, but the only ones that are to blame are you and your husband. Why should she be apologizing with you? May has no reason to feel bad for any of this.
I thought that you were still kind enough to forgive us if May apologized with us. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking.
I've already called the police.
What? You're joking.
I'm heading over, so have my car ready for me to take home. I want everything you've loaded into it removed. If it's still got stuff in it when I arrive, I'll take it home anyway and have everything given to charity. I suggest you work very quickly.
You haven't actually called the police, have you? You're just playing with me, right?
Sally was kind enough to stay with the car, so it hasn't been towed, but if she hadn't been standing by the car, you might have been left with a ticket.
Yeah, but it's not that big a deal. I thought it would be okay if we left for just one night. I didn't think there would be any problem. Are you already on your way? It would be a waste to pay for a taxi. I'll have my husband take your car back to you, so you don't have to come. You don't have to call the police either.
I'm already on my way. I can't trust anything you say anymore, and God forbid, I don't want things made worse by your husband having an accident on the way to my place. I'll need to have someone take a look at the scratch on the side, so I'll be taking my car straight into the local repair shop myself.
All right, if you say so. We'll pay a little bit for the repairs. So can you forgive us? Please don't call the police on us. You'll just be making a big deal out of a really small issue. Please. My mother-in-law lives in the neighborhood, and if she hears about this, oh, she'll be furious. She already hates me so much. If she finds out the police were involved, she'll never forgive me.
Susie, that's your own problem, not mine. If you didn't want the police involved, you should have returned my car when I first asked you to, not after the millionth time. Anyway, I'm curious. Why didn't you park my car in your apartment's parking space? It should be open if your car is being repaired, right?
Huh?
You have a parking space reserved for your apartment, which you usually use for your car, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but we can't use it right now.
Because your car is still parked there. It's not being repaired, is it?
No, my car's out for repairs. I just can't use the parking space right now.
You want to use my car because it was big and convenient for carrying camping items, right? Your car wasn't big enough, so you decided to use mine. You lied to me about that too, didn't you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't know how to explain. I thought you wouldn't let me borrow your car if you knew that mine was still usable. Ugh, I missed the chance to tell you the truth.
You didn't mean to? You clearly thought that the best way to get me to lend you my car was to deceive me. You can't pretend that you didn't lie on purpose. You say you missed the chance to tell me, but I don't think you ever planned to tell me the truth. And you wonder why I can't trust you with my car?
I'm really sorry. I'll pay for the repairs, so please forgive me.
I've had to pay for a taxi to get to your house, so I want you to pay for that too. I'll be sending you a bill for the repairs and the taxi fare, and I'll be talking with my lawyers. You took my car without my permission, so I can press charges for theft, you know.
Please don't do that. Lisa, there's a police car outside my apartment. Did you really call the police?
Yes, I did. I reported the theft a few minutes ago. I'll be there within a few minutes myself. I suggest you go down to the police and be honest about what you've done. If you don't, you'll just make things worse, and your mother-in-law will find out in the worst possible way. You don't want to make a fuss in front of all your neighbors, do you? How ironic. If you had just accepted that I didn't want to lend you my car and booked a rent-a-car, you might have saved a few more dollars, and you would have been able to avoid such an embarrassing situation. In the end, a police car had come to check up on the situation, not just because Lisa had reported the theft, but because there had been calls from the neighbors about the car being parked in a no parking zone. Many neighbors had come out to see what was going on and were gossiping about the appearance of a police car and about Susie's grand theft auto. Susie and her husband were given a warning by the police officer, and the scratch turned out to be the doing of one of the neighbor's children, but Susie's husband had to take full responsibility since he was the one that parked the car there. Lisa was able to use that in demanding that they pay the full amount of repairs. Susie and her husband ended up paying a lot more than they would have done if they had just rented a car. Of course, Susie and her family couldn't go on holiday, and her mother-in-law found out about what they had done. She was lectured and lost all her trust. On top of that, none of Susie's friends would hang out with her after they had heard what she had done. She had to pay a lot more than she expected financially and socially. And so it looks like she should have just booked a rent-a-car.
Hey, Ginny. Are you there? You better answer me right now. Don't you know who this is? It's me, Paul. Hurry up and answer me, right now!
Paul, what the heck is this all about? Just what do you think you're doing talking to me like that, huh?
Well, I should be asking you the same thing, Ginny. What kind of way is that to talk to your husband when he just wants to talk to you, huh? You really need to learn your place. Do you know that? One of these days, that mouth of yours is going to get you in trouble.
First of all, you are not my husband, Paul. You and I are divorced now, so you don't get to call yourself that or talk to me like that. Do you understand me? We got divorced 3 years ago, and it's high time that you accept that and quit talking to me like this. Even if we were married, it still wouldn't be a good way to talk to your wife.
Oh, please. You really think that you can talk to me like this when you hardly do any work around the house? All you do is complain about being tired to get out of doing work, but somehow I'm supposed to be the bad guy here? Besides, I'll have you know that unlike when you and I were married, I'm loving being married to your little sister Debbie. She's much kinder to me than you ever were. Also, you should know that she's just a better wife than you ever could be. And that's why the two of us got married after I was promoted to the head of my department. I need a wife of equal standing with my new position. And that's why I left you for her.
What are you talking about? Don't act as if that's why you left me for my sister. Besides, I heard that you were only promoted to that position last month. Isn't that right? It certainly took you long enough to get there, didn't it? Well, fine. Big congratulations from me. Is that what you wanted to hear?
That's right. I did take a long time, but all of my hard work finally paid off, and my company has finally recognized all that I've given to them. And just how did you find out that I was promoted anyways, huh? Have you been talking to people about me or something like that? Still trying to keep up with my life?
You wish that I had any interest in what was going on with you anymore. But unfortunately, one of the worst side effects of being your ex-wife is that everyone wants to talk to me about what you're up to. So I just happened to hear through the grapevine about your little promotion, if you must know. Although I really have no idea what your company was thinking. You must put on quite the different face for them there.
There we go. I knew that you were just jealous of me. You don't like it when anything good happens to me, and you never have. You really are just a mean, jealous woman, aren't you? Hey, what the heck is the matter with you, huh? Don't you ignore me! How dare you do that to me? Just who do you think you are? You don't get to do that. We weren't through talking. You answer me right now. I am not going to sit here and take this from you.
What do you want from me, Paul? Why on earth would I talk to you about this? What is there even to talk about? I have nothing to say to you. You and I haven't talked to each other for all the 3 years since you and I got the divorce. Did you really just break that nice, quiet, peaceful streak to brag about your promotion to me?
Of course that isn't all I wanted to talk to you about. The truth is that something has happened to your sister's back. She's not doing so well!
Wait, what? What do you mean by that? What do you mean that something has happened to my sister's back? What happened? And what do you mean that she isn't doing so well? I don't get what you're trying to say with that.
I mean that something has happened to her lower back, and now she's having serious problems being able to move around. Does that make enough sense to you? She's actually in the hospital being looked at right now, but she can't even leave the house or her hospital without help moving around now. It really is tough seeing her this way. Things are really, really bad right now.
I see. Well, I didn't know that was going on with Debbie. This is the first that I'm hearing about it right now. Prior to this, I had no idea that she was having back problems and had trouble moving.
Well, that's what's happening now. She's having back problems and having serious mobility issues. So that's why I'm making her your problem and not mine.
What is that supposed to mean? What do you mean that you are making her my problem and not yours? What is meant by that? Please explain what those words in that order is supposed to convey to me, Paul.
What are you talking about? Do you really need me to spell out the meaning of those words that I just sent you in text form? Do you really need me to explain to you what I was trying to tell you with that message? What I'm saying is that it's obvious that your sister is better than you in everything, right? Surely we can agree on that first. And I think we can also agree that your sister has done a much better job of making me happy as my wife than you ever did when you and I were married. And so anyways, she's gonna be your problem, because you're going to donate part of your body to help cure her now, okay?
Excuse me? You think that I'm going to donate part of my body to my sister? And just when did you decide that for me, huh? Because this is the first that I'm hearing about any of this.
Well, it's not like I even wanted to come to you to make you do this or anything, but the doctors are saying that the donor has to come from the same family, so I don't know who else could do this but you. Come on, your sister can barely even move now, and you're really going to get hung up on being a donor for her? I mean, are you really going to let what happened between you and us in the past affect her health in the present?
I'm sorry, but I really have no idea what you are going on about at all right now, Paul. I mean, I don't even have a sister, so...
What in the world are you talking about? You know that saying something like that isn't going to just make it come true through magic or anything, right? Are you seriously just going to let one of your family members suffer like this? You're being so selfish right now! I can't believe you!
Well, I haven't really heard anything about any of this from my sister. So until I hear it from her, I have no intention of just going along with whatever you have to tell me.
So you're really just going to let your sister go on suffering like this then? How could you do something like this? You know that you're both family!
Well, it doesn't sound like Debbie needs me. Otherwise, she would certainly have called on me already, right? So if she needs my spinal fluid or whatever, I don't care. I don't plan on sparing an ounce of my body for her.
Oh, come on! So you're really fine just letting your poor little sister go on like this? How can you be so cruel right now? I've never met someone so heartless!
Well, then you had better stop wasting your time trying to ask me for these kinds of favors, Paul. Especially since it's all your fault that I'm about to get really, really busy now. So just leave me alone and let me concentrate.
What does that even mean? No, I mean seriously, what do those words that you just texted me even mean? I don't get it. What do you mean, because of me, things are going to get busier for you? I don't understand what it is you mean by that. What do you mean that I'm going to make things even more busy for you?
I suppose it really is just better if you don't know what I am talking about now that I think about it.
I don't get what you mean by that. What are you talking about? I just wanted to talk to you about being a donor for your little sister, and now you're going on about something else.
Well, I already told you that I'm not going to be donating anything to my little sister. Besides, I don't even know if there is going to be a surgery.
What are you talking about? Of course there's going to be surgery. How could you even try and say that there wouldn't be a surgery when you didn't even know about any of this until I came to tell you about your sister's health problems and how she's having trouble moving now?
Jenny, oh my gosh. I can't believe what you did. I mean, really? Just where do you get off, huh? Why would you do something like this to me? I thought I told you to never ever tell our parents that I cheated with Paul and stole him from you. Why in the world did you have to go and tell them about what happened between the three of us now, after so much time had passed? It's all your fault that they won't talk to me even though I'm in the hospital right now. You are totally screwing me over right now.
Ah, Debbie. And here I was worrying that you would be too weak to even be able to respond to me since you were, as you said, in the hospital right now and trying to get a hold of people. But I think that you should be grateful to me instead. After all, I kept quiet to our mom and dad about how you and Paul had an affair and ran off to get married, didn't I?
I don't want to hear anything from you, you horrible, evil, no-good, backstabbing witch! If anyone should be getting pity right now, it's me. Don't you know that I'm in the hospital right now? Now, you are going to tell me right now why you waited this long to tell Mom and Dad about what Paul and I did that led you to getting divorced and us getting married, okay?
Well, that's just it. I think that you did something far worse to me than what you're going through right now. Besides, it's not like I lied to our parents or anything like that. All I told them was that you and my then husband Paul started to have an affair with each other. Then I explained how I found out that you two were seeing each other behind my back and that was why I was going to divorce Paul. Then I explained to Mom and Dad how after Paul and I got a divorce because I discovered him having an affair with you, that you two got married. Is that really so bad to tell our parents when I'm only telling them the truth about their children?
But, I mean, I didn't think that you were going to tell them that Paul and I were having an affair behind your back and that is the reason why the two of you decided to have a divorce after you discovered what was going on between Paul and I. I thought that you were going to keep it a secret from our family so that no one suspected anything bad about me. Especially not that I'm the kind of person to sleep with my sister's husband, thus leading them to break up so that I could then marry the very husband that I was having an affair with and who used to be married to my sister.
Well, that is why I said that you should be grateful that I had kept this a secret for so long. Because Mom and Dad were quite surprised to find out that you and Paul having an affair was the reason that we got our divorce, and that after Paul and I did get our divorce, that the two of you decided to get married.
But because you told Mom and Dad about me sleeping with Paul and your divorce and then me marrying Paul, now Mom and Dad aren't going to help me out with the money that I need to afford my surgery for my back. You are going to be the reason why I might not be able to get my surgery for my back that is preventing me from being able to move freely and is the reason why I'm in the hospital in the first place. But we're sisters! I thought that we were supposed to help each other. But instead, you had to go and betray me by telling Mom and Dad about how I slept with your husband behind your back and how that led to you and your husband getting a divorce, which then led to him and I getting married instead.
Well, I don't care how you see this situation because the fact of the matter is that you are not my sister.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean that I'm not your sister? Are our parents married or not? How can you say that you and I aren't sisters when we are part of the same family? That is what being sisters means.
No, the only reason that you think you can call me your sister is because our parents got married. But there is no other reason than that I should have any connection to you at all. We aren't even connected by blood, so I don't understand how you can say that we're family when that isn't even true. Not only are we not connected by blood, but no sister of mine would ever sleep with my husband, thus leading him and I to getting a divorce, and then after that, having the guts to marry that same husband. I remember when I found out about the two of you and first threatened to tell Mom and Dad that you and Paul were having an affair with each other behind my back. You told me to butt out, and that it didn't matter since we weren't really related, remember?
But, sure, I may not have wanted you to butt into my life when I was having that affair with Paul behind your back, but now I really, 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 really need you.
You really have got some nerve coming to me for help after you were sleeping with my husband behind my back, and then the two of you had the gall to get married after we got a divorce, and now you really think that I'll just give up part of my body to save yours? It just is not going to happen, okay?
Are you out of your mind? That just proves that you really do want to kill me. Don't you realize that this is going to make you a murderer? By not helping me, you're doing the same thing as killing me, got it? I mean it. If you don't donate what I need to fix my back, which is causing me health problems and is the reason why I'm in the hospital right now, then I could really die.
Hey, Ginny! What the heck is the matter with you? Are you seriously not going to help out your sister? The doctors figured out exactly what it is that's wrong with her. It's just a little bit of your spine, you know?
Well, I simply can't give her anything. I've already said this.
But you two are connected by blood! If you don't do this for her, then no one else can! The least you can do is have a doctor look at you to see if the transplant would be possible! Don't you want to save your little sister? We already asked your parents to get checked, and neither of them are going to be able to donate!
Well, I'm afraid that there really just isn't a point in asking me for help with this.
But don't you want your sister to live? I know that you two have issues, but you don't want her to die, right?
I'm sorry, but I don't intend to sacrifice myself for my sister. I don't care who it is, I just wouldn't do something like that. Especially not if they were my cheating sister and ex-husband asking for my help.
Hey, come on! There's no need to talk about us that way! That happened a long time ago!
You really are an idiot, do you know that? I wish that you would have just stayed in your small hometown and never left. But anyways, I am telling you that I just can't donate anything to my sister, so there's no point in even getting examined. Don't you know that I'm already donating my spinal fluid to my mom? I've been doing this since before we got married.
What are you talking about? I didn't know that you were giving that for your mom!
Well, why did you think I was going to the hospital so regularly? My mom also had back problems and needed a donor who would be compatible with her body. That's why I would go to the hospital to donate what I could to my mom. It was also why I was so tired around the house all the time and not able to clean well. But I know that I told you all about this. You can't say that you didn't know, just that you weren't listening.
So that's what all those hospital bills were about. I was always wondering about that.
I really am sick of having to deal with you. You only ever care about things that have to do with you.
What do you mean by that? It's not like I was never kind to you!
When I was feeling especially bad and bedridden with a fever, you were telling me to quit using the fever as an excuse to get out of doing my work. You berated me about how hard you work for us and how I never do anything and only care about myself. But you were the selfish one. I was just trying to rest in bed so that I could feel better and try to take care of the house.
But, I mean, how was I supposed to know that you were actually sick? Sure, you felt a little hot, but I thought that you just wanted to stay in bed all day and not do anything. Besides, I was only trying to help you. Everyone knows that a little light exercise can be good when you're sick.
You really think that I wanted to spend all day in bed, hardly moving and feeling awful? I couldn't move because it was physically uncomfortable to. I was in real pain, Paul.
But, I mean, wait a second. Why am I even listening to this? This is clearly all an excuse that you just came up with right now. Just hand over your spine!
You really are an idiot, do you know that? I have no idea what I ever saw in you. But it's only thanks to the fact that Mom finally got treatment that I've been able to stop going into the hospital. Except now the doctors say that I've given so much to my mom that I really shouldn't be undergoing that procedure anymore at all. So even if I went into the hospital to get an exam to see if Debbie and I were compatible, it still wouldn't matter. The fact of the matter is that no doctor would approve of my donating anything to Debbie because of the risk it would pose to me.
So you're really going to try and use your own selfishness as an excuse to get out of saving your sister's life right now?
Yeah, I guess I am. I guess I will use my own medical condition to get out of a surgery, yes.
But then, why did you say any of this to begin with? If I had known that this was the case, I would have never asked you from the start!
You shouldn't have been coming to me asking for help in the first place, Paul. Besides, I would really start to worry about yourself, Paul. There are some big things coming your way, and soon you are going to be left with nothing. But don't worry, you'll only be getting what's coming to you. So good luck with that.
What the heck is that even supposed to mean? Don't you just leave after sending a message like that? I'm trying to talk to you here! Hey! Answer me right now! Ugh, you won't get away with this! What the heck is the matter with you, you evil woman? I know that you did this!
Oh my, I hope that you have a good reason for greeting with all this vitriol, Paul. This is no way to start a conversation with your ex-wife, you know.
Oh, shut up! I know that you did this! You're the one suing me, aren't you? I got your little court summons that you sent me. Are you seriously hiring a lawyer to use against me? You really have got some nerve! Do you know that?
Well, you see, in our state, it is perfectly legal for someone to sue another if they were at one-time spouses and an affair happened. So yes, I am suing you. Do you have any other questions for me?
Well, what is this with timing, huh? You know that your sister's in the hospital right now. Why would you kick us when Debbie and I are already down? Don't you think that's taking things way too far?
I'm sorry, but this lawsuit is entirely from your own doing. If you and my sister hadn't done what you had done, then this wouldn't be happening. Although I suppose I did wait until the mood struck me to actually carry out the lawsuit. I suppose I was just waiting for the right opportunity to present it to you.
And you thought that it was okay to do this while your sister's suffering in a hospital?
And why should I show any mercy to you cheaters? You really think you deserve sympathy from anyone? But I wasn't just waiting for something like this. When we divorced, you were still just another drone in your office. Now that you've been promoted, your fall is going to be all that much sweeter.
Okay, I'm getting just a bit sick of talking about this affair. When are you going to get over it, huh? And what other choice did I have when you did nothing around the house all day?
I thought I already told you that I had a medical condition keeping me from being able to do that. And besides, what did you do but stay out all night and sleep in all day on your days off?
Oh, well, excuse me for having a real job and hours of overtime work. I guess I should have just let us become homeless instead.
You know, I think I finally figured out when it was that you and my sister started seeing each other. It was while I had that fever. I had to spend a couple nights in the hospital, and I remember you had called Debbie over to help move me. I may have had a fever and been slightly delirious, but I could see the sparks flying between the two of you. So was that when your affair started? While your wife was suffering in the hospital? Not only that, but you both had the guts to ask me not to tell my mom and dad about what the two of you had done.
What does it matter when it started? Was my sleeping or not sleeping with your sister going to fix you? Besides, you're just upset because I realized that my true love wasn't you, but your sister. And now you're just trying to carry out this petty revenge.
You have no idea the pain that you caused me when I caught you with my sister. From the day that I found out about you two, I swore to myself that I would make you pay. And every day since then has been waiting, biding my time. And when I heard that you had been promoted, I knew that was my chance. You thought that I was weak and lazy, so I used that to my advantage in crafting this plan. And after 3 years, the timing couldn't have been better. Not only had my own preparations been completed, but I heard that you were promoted. And then on top of that, my sister ends up in the hospital. It seems that the fates aren't on your side in this one, Paul.
But, I mean, if you've waited this long, then surely you can wait a little longer, right? Please, I just got promoted. You can't do this to me!
Oh, I'm afraid that I've put far too much work into this to listen to your begs for mercy now, Paul. While you were living your happy life remarried to my sister, I was busy plotting. I was out gathering evidence, taking photos, calling lawyers until I found just the one that I knew would see you hit the hardest with the book of the law. 3 years is a long, long time. But then again, you would know that, wouldn't you? You were working for this promotion for such a long time. Surely you wouldn't listen to someone who asked you just to wait a bit longer for your promotion since the timing didn't work for them, right? Well, now you can see the position you're putting me in. I'm going to see you and Debbie crushed and buried under your deceit and then leave you with nothing. If you're upset about all of this now, I just hope that in 3 more years you'll finally be able to understand why all of this is your fault and you deserve whatever comes next for the two of you. I heard from my mom and dad that Debbie still hasn't been able to find a suitable donor for her spinal issues. Instead, she's having to use medicine that takes its toll on her body. I also heard one of their piece of news that might have surprised me if it wasn't so predictable. And that was that Paul had cheated on Debbie while she was in the hospital. After I filed my lawsuit against the two of them, rumors began to fly around Paul's work about the kind of husband that he was. When his bosses found out that he had basically chosen his career over his wife, they chose to make an example out of Paul by demoting him and sending him out to work in one of the offices in the countryside. There, far from Debbie, Paul thought that he could get away with cheating on his wife. But somehow or another, Debbie found out, and so Paul ended up getting hit with a second case of infidelity, and that's how he got his second divorce. While I am still refusing to lift a finger to help my selfish sister, I do hope that one day she is able to find a donor for her condition. Either way, I just hope she doesn't learn from my example and walks away with the much better lesson that the best revenge is simply to live a happy life. Speaking of me, I continue with my life after the lawsuit. I continued going to work and eventually even found a boyfriend. I explained to him about my back condition, but he has been so understanding and has never, ever tried to use it against me. I'm so happy that I finally found someone who cares about me in a way that I feel I deserve. Perhaps if I found this man earlier, my heart wouldn't have been pulled in the direction that led me to take revenge on Paul and my sister.